Welcome, one and all, to another installation. I believe this is episode 27 of Stepping Through the Gateway. Last time, most of the episode was dealt with going into the inverted tower and doing several different things. Several that did a little bit of mindfuckery with Adraxan and several other things that happened within the rest of the group. There was a meal, and then there was coming back to the hotel. That's just the quick and dirty. But let's all take a deep breath, and as we exhale, we're going to leave reality behind as we descend through that curtain of darkness that separates fantasy from reality. We're going to drift down through the darkness until it gives way to that patchwork sky of night and day and dawn and dusk and every time period in between every color of sky. We drift through that patchwork. We pass through one of those clouds that ignores the patchwork behind it. Drift down into view of the twisting, turning streets of the gateway. Our focus rushes through one of the streets in through the main hall of a very familiar hotel, up the stairs, and as we regain our focus on the band of characters that we have grown so fond of, the door is just opening to them. They're taking notice of their surroundings. The the satyr is testing the new corner of the room, and this is where we pick back up. This is the first sentence of the paragraph that starts this chapter. With that, I'm going to leave it in the hands of my very capable players.
Um, so we're just getting back to the room.
Within the
Yeah.
minute of getting back to the room, you guys
Perfect.
had you guys had come back in, tested that corner, and before everybody started going into your wind down and rest and get back up, that's where we ended.
Uh, as he's getting his stuff um taken off to get ready for his wind down, he pulls out the his vial and looks over at Biren. Would you like to try give it a shot?
Baron is spread eagle, face planted on his bed.
It is slowly turning into a soggy mess.
I've got a charge in it still today. If you don't want it, I can pass it on to somebody else.
Huh?
Might be a good time for you to check in on your family, Baron.
I don't think so.
Well, I'm not going to force you to do it, but you would like to hear from them.
Over the table, do you really think that drunk Baron mixing magical potion it just seems like a bad idea?
Okay, just saying, it's up to him.
Yep.
Well, doesn't seem like Biren's interested in it tonight. He's gonna look over to Dashani. You have anybody you want to contact? Outside of, I do believe you've mentioned that your mom is your patron, which I believe you could contact her at any time you wanted. Which, that would have to be slightly weird, but anyway, it's available to you if you want to.
Over the table, Tormy, she would have heard from her mother if there was something that. So over the table, Dashani basically has, like, her mom is a good parent, but at the same time, just like one of those parents that expects perfection. So there's like that whole like I want to, but I don't want to. But as a god, she still would have had contact with Dashani if she wanted to, right?
As far as you have discovered, divinity is not cut off here, at the
Okay.
very least in communication either direction. It just seems like even with everything that you've seen in the gateway, you have not seen you've seen great power at work. You've not seen divinity at work.
Okay. So Dashani's just gonna shake her head and tap her temple and be like, Mom gets me when she wants me.
Nobody else besides your mom that you want to contact?
I take it back. There have been some in the tower specifically.
Mhm. Guys, I gotta take this call. I'll be right back.
You're fine. And then he'll look to Ari. Anybody you would like to contact from home? Or anybody you know? This vial allows you to talk to anybody outside of the gateway for an hour.
I appreciate the offer, but as I said, none that are still living.
Understandable. Well,
Several of you have come back from an extremely filling and alcoholic meal. um,
I don't remember what I got last time.
you all pretty much got the same thing.
No,
Slightly different.
I didn't get.
You didn't get the mead. You just stuck with the water. Everybody else had the mead.
Okay.
But everybody had the chocolate steak and a different kind of regular steak,
Mm.
and then one vegetable.
So I'm not drunk.
You're the only
Just
one
full.
that isn't
Uh,
at least tipsy.
uh,
Because
I'm gonna.
those that
Bjorn was drunk and still managing to roll 20s on his sleight of hand.
but it basically came down to the mugs that they had set in front of each of you outside of the cups for the water were like they were a pint for a large creature.
Right.
They were a small cask with a handle.
I almost forgot to also write this down. That place was called High Stakes.
Yep.
High Stakes. Okay. Oh, since nobody else took him up on the offer, he is going to take part of the bite of his vial. and it's just going to be not something we have to take up time for. He's just going to get in contact with his dad and check on things back at home, how everything's going. Just kind of a check-in.
If you want to speed that along, I can. Your mother is actually out on one of the normal guardings, passings through the Fae. All of your siblings are also out. Your father is the only one at home, aside from some of the staff.
Somebody's got to hold down the fort. Doesn't surprise him at all that they're all out being busy because of their reputation. So he's just, well, another day in our line of work. But
You do have a couple of younger siblings that you wouldn't expect to be on specifically on doing the guard work type of thing, but even in your youth, you ended up going out and getting lessons abroad. It wasn't all at home.
right. So then after that, that is one conversation that does not take an entire hour. Like maybe a 30-minute catch up, but that's about it. If that.
Do you inform about what you've been doing?
I do. At least to the point that I've made it to the gateway. And that there are things that we are working to deal with that basically assisting grandfather.
Are you informing about the peril?
Yes, only because it is a member of the family that it directly affects at the moment.
There is about a 1 minute pause where you're wondering if your father has stopped talking or the effects have given out. But it is close to the end of your conversation when he finally comes back to, once you reach him, if you or he need help, call home.
We definitely will.
Even if none of your blood comes, something will.
Fantastic.
As he sends a lone bee.
Biren is like Adraxon's younger siblings. He's getting lessons abroad right now.
You're not wrong. So that's one thing.
Okay.
Most of you are settling down. Some of your companions started stirring and are doing a couple of other things around the room. Balon's bed seems to be empty. It looks like he's been out doing something.
Okay.
Cap is
Not-
currently snoring in his literal nest of sheets.
Okay. I just made a note of that. Well, before bed, I am going to do my usual. So if anybody else has anything they want to do before they crash or whatever, I'm not going to take the entire time of them.
Does anybody else have anything they want to do before bed?
Ari just starts to read, settle down, jots a few notes, then he's out by the light.
Okay. How about Baron?
Biren is passed the fuck out.
First time drinking? Makes sense.
Hence why Draxon stayed to he got the feel for the aesthetic of that place and he was like, I'm gonna stick to the water. I know how hunters drink. No thank you.
At least
Um,
one of us has to be sober.
right? So as everybody else does their thing, he sits down in bed like he usually does. Actually, no, he doesn't. This time he finds a he thinks for a moment about a spot that he wants, just like not like a corner, but like a small nook that has like a just a comfy spot, and he sees if the room makes it for him.
Nothing has changed since you entered the room.
You're
But
gonna have to
go
request
ahead,
that before we come back in.
go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay, perception. It's actually super fucking crazy. That is a dirty 20. I rolled an 11.
In one of the other corners of the room, it's not a bed, it's not a couch or a chair. There's a circular soft pillow that is just, it looks like it's tastefully been tossed into the corner.
He's gonna go sit on that and take up his meditative seating.
At first, it's not as firm as you thought. As you take up and you get into your seating, you sink a good 3, 4, 5 inches into this cushion.
A bit soft.
And as you straighten your back and take your meditative position, you feel yourself rise about an inch and the pillow not harden but firm up.
Self-firming pillows over the table. I wish that was a real thing.
It's the exact opposite as of memory foam,
Uh-huh.
and it is a technology that exists.
Oh, awesome. So we're going to let everything go and dive back into the void of the first moment.
As you one by one move your senses, dropping back into that space. The last sensation that you feel is the soft ache of your cheek. And then you are in that space of nothing. The raw potential of infinite possibility.
Now, is it similar to how I've entered? Is it similar to how it has been in the room, or is it reminiscent of how it was in the tower?
Which was your aim?
Oh, I was informed that both of them were the same thing. Or at least I thought that I might have misunderstood.
Is it your aim to experience it the same way you did in the tower or here? Or in the one other place that you've experienced it?
Which would have been the carnival. Um,
Or did you have intent behind it?
no, he would have had intent behind it, especially after learning about the potential that the infinite potential that was of that could be. Um, I think we're gonna start with how it was in the room. The
Here?
not no the sorry the tower.
Tower?
Yes.
You descend into that void. There's no color, there's no shape, there's no input or output. For lack of a better term, there is nothing here. Not the stage work that you have placed in your meditations that you've done in this room before. That is all not laid out like usual.
I want to try to call on some of that to see if I can get it to resonate in this place as it did in how it has before.
There is, in most of your previous sensations in this place, in this time, things softly came into view or into your senses. New senses were built to understand. And that feels like decades ago in this moment. Or was it decades from now? It's kind of confusing.
Sorry, guys.
You're good.
And suddenly, it is not they softly come into view. It is stark. They were not there, and then they are there. The companions that you have in this room are standing, rigidly standing, all facing you from the distances that you recalled them in the room. And for those that weren't in the room, at the beds you know that they usually take. They are standing like soldiers at the ready. Each one of their forms, each one of the colors that make up that form. They are standing at attention.
Um, uh, I am going to focus on them. because as I've experienced the sensation before, they were the first time it was not necessarily them as they were in the room when I went into the state. As I got more familiar with the area, it became more of what they were doing when I went into the meditative state. I want to focus on their state of being at the moment that I'm within this place, and just kind of see if it leads somewhere.
You feel 7 sharp, small, sharp pricks in the core of your non-being. As the figures that are at attention, you see where their head is shift and focus on you. The pinpricks of pain don't go away, they just fade a bit.
I'm going to, as I notice this, I am then going to shift the attention to myself, or my existence.
The sensations that you felt with the previous, in one of your previous meditations like this, where when you focused on each of them individually, you got 2 that had a sensation that matched an emotion of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
You get those pairings hit you all at once, down those strings to you, through those points of sharp but dimmed pain as they flare, and as you come into feeling yourself, that explosion of sensation fills out the form that you know of yourself. You can see where your limbs should be. See isn't the right term. See would mean that you have eyes here.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels inaccurate to just keep saying the word sense.
Right.
So as
I
you
can
shift your
acknowledge.
as you shift your focus from them to yourself, you feel that pain and the explosion of self, of what each one of those emotions and each one of those sensations means to you, fills out the sensation of your body
Yeah.
or your soul or whatever this is. What's your next move?
Um, I'm going to try to. Are the 7 of them standing in like a circular around?
No, They're standing at the distances that their
That's
beds
right.
normally are.
I am going to try to move myself from that location to each of them. Attempt
One by
to.
one, each of them, or to a space between them.
One by one.
Your first stop is the one that makes you feel the most broken. You are, by terms of your personal understanding, no more than a foot away from this tall form.
Um, going to attempt to reach out and interact with the individual.
As your arm comes up, or what you understand to be your arm, a mirror of that movement happens with that figure. As your hand lands on its shoulder, its hand lands on yours. You don't feel more, just the the pressure of those emotions expands a bit.
I'm gonna move to each of the others and repeat the process and just see if it's just an expansion on the emotions that each one is linked with me to.
At each one, you get within about a foot within your understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You make a motion, and that form matches and mirrors. So, whereas if your hand went up, theirs went over your shoulder. If you went to touch their forehead, theirs came to touch yours. In each of these situations, one of the emotions and its paired feeling was intensified upon them touching you.
Okay.
But you touching them felt numbness in the extremity that you had out. When you separate, the numbness goes back to feeling.
Interesting. After I've made it to all 7, I'm going to go to a spot between the 7 of them. And I am going to focus on the 7 connections and the emotions that each of them are linked to me by, and I'm gonna try to send the opposite to each one. Not like sending each of them another one of their emotions. It's going to be like, this one makes me feel the most broken and sad. So the opposite of what that would be. And it will be that he's going to attempt to do that for each of the 7.
For this,
Mhm.
roll me a persuasion at disadvantage.
Well, fantastic.
I know, it's not one of your new and improved.
No. It's not the greatest, but it's not terrible for me. I rolled a natural 20, but at disadvantage it is a 16.
It takes practice. It's you trying to exude an emotion that complements by opposition to each one of the feelings that you feel from them. Feels like hours. It feels like days are taken as you find each one and their balance. And as you find the last of them, each of their forms at attention shifts fully to face you directly. And it's not like before, where you felt a tug, where you felt a tear, where you felt physical hard tension. You feel an utter lack of heat. You finally feel something missing in this space.
Hmm.
And you find it hard to move this form that you have here.
Then I will go back.
Unlike previous times, where you released and felt the pull, the draw back to the surface, where sensations and feelings and senses had meaning again. You go to let go, and there's a pause. And everything just kind of, it's not that it fades to black, it's that it just is gone. And you come out of your trance gasping and cold. Like almost as if you had been holding your breath for the entire time. You know how your body temperature goes down when you're holding your breath?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what's new.
Go ahead and roll me that D100.
Oh, I gotta find the 100. Give me the. Oh shit! Don't. Oh, I caught that. That's fantastic. All right, where's my D10? Where's my D10? That is a 68.
Okay. I've got you.
Okay.
You come out cold and Tashani, what have you been doing for the last 4 hours since since everybody pretty much settled down for rest and Adraxin went into his normal meditation? What have you been doing? Did we lose you to another important call? Okay. So those 4 hours have gone. And you are settling down from an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Let's leave it at that.
I'm going to get up slowly.
It's not that your limbs are heavy, it's that your joints are tough to move.
And I am going to teleport myself into the bathtub. And as I land, just because of my current season, the water heats up just a little bit more.
As you let the chamber work its magic of helping soothe your aches. So 4 hours have gone by. Has Biren just completely assed out, or does he slip into his trance and rise themselves fresh? Hello?
Zerby. Oh, there
How
he
would
is.
that work?
I'm gonna let you take the reins here. If you feel that they would have transitioned from drunk knockout to regular sleep, because it is their first time in their young life, or if they are going to have the mid 30s, oh god, this is what a hangover is type of rest.
Ah, I know those well.
Yeah, me too. Um, he's still young. He transitions.
Okay. Are you going to say about an hour in, or are you going to say 2, 3?
hour.
Okay. Then we're going to say about half an hour after Adraxan has transitioned out of his main or his exhaustive trance, and he is warming himself in the bath. This is when you finally come to.
Do we have Deshani back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Excellent. I'm gonna go
Sorry, we're trying
real
to
quick.
coordinate our stupid family camping trip, and everybody keeps calling me.
Well, so that we can get something for you, and
Mhm.
we're gonna transition to you real quick. What did you do during the first 4.5 hours of this rest period? Because the only person who had done actions was Adraxan.
She's going to be feeling out emotions one by one.
Is she doing a checklist on her of emotions period, or is she checking emotions on each one of the people in the beds or
Each person.
herself? Okay. There's levels of excitement and exhaustion and little bits of hope and pain and anxiety in most of your companions. And each
And
time that you read one of them, you feel a mirror of that in the corner on a pillow in Adraxan.
That's gonna kind of make her tilt her head and that confused furrowed brow look.
Can you give me a perception check while you're at it?
Okay, give me 1 second.
Mhm.
Um, sorry, my stuff's taking a second to load.
You're good. Your perception is a +3.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, that's a nat 20. So I'm perceiving a lot.
So while you are paying attention, much more focused on the emotions that you pick up on each of them, as you're coming up to around the end of the 4-hour mark, and you take a closer look over in Adraxan's arena, you feel every single one of those emotions behind you, reflected right in front of you, at the same intensities. And as you're tilting your head, you also notice that he is. There's no rise or fall of his chest.
That's going to make Deshani very concerned. And she would go and check on him.
Couple of moments go. He doesn't seem to be going into a rest or anything, but he does seem to be not. It seems like he's puffed, like he is holding a breath, but at the same time, he's not breathing. And when you go to physically check on him, he doesn't react to your pressure, and his skin is not cold, but cool. Which is slightly concerning considering he's in his summer. He usually broadcasts heat right now.
She's gonna try to do some healing on him. Because she's just gonna assume that there's something going on. Something that he would have gotten from where they last were. Um
Which one of your
I
healing
am
abilities are you going to put into it?
um let's do a healing light.
While you're doing your quick prayer and your press, what part of the body do you touch for your healing light?
Chest.
You have felt under your hand several times when you healed somebody up close. Wounds close and stitch together like they had not been there before. You have felt the fibers of muscles rehash themselves instead of that state of disrepair that slowly turns into more muscle. The heat doesn't come back. The breath doesn't start back up, but you feel the fiber of the muscles relax and then tighten again.
She'll try to wake him.
We're going to do a slight retcon
Mm-hmm.
before your snap and go to the bath thing.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Your first shake does nothing. Your second shake does nothing. Your third shake does nothing. As you start to get a little more anxious and you go to do something a little more drastic, you had taken a step back just to compose yourself, and just as you are winding up to do something, he gasps for air. His eyes shoot open, and the coldness of his body, there is suddenly steam as his season takes hold again. Like the night in the summer where there's a freak flash frost. How suddenly the streets are all steam. How the air is suddenly more humid than you could ever feel like you should be able to breathe. It's not that the temperature in his skin suddenly came to his normal heat. It's slowly building back. He is gasping in front of you. And it takes him a moment to realize that you are so close. He's
Mm.
taking stock of everything that's happening to his physical form as he comes out of this, and it takes you 5, 6 seconds before you notice one of your companions is right here. Very similar to how you were to all of those forms.
Oh,
She's
hi.
checking. She's checking for signs of anything. If there's anything else, like, does she need to do a restoration or anything like that?
There doesn't seem to be a there seems to be a tax on the overall system, but it doesn't seem like a lasting tax. It's similar to somebody who has just been diving for a long time. They came up, they are shivering, and they are lacking the air that they needed, but give them time to breathe and they should be fine.
Give me 1 sec,
Somebody
guys. I gotta take a phone call.
somebody who is buried in snow takes a moment to need to be able to stretch their limbs before they can move. That sort of thing.
Okay. And then she would be sensing out emotions as well.
Um, Suddenly, as he is finally out of that trance, you no longer feel the mirror of everybody else in the room. It is just his curiosity, his diligence, his want to connect. His want to do better.
Okay. She's basically going to be trying to figure this out because none of that makes sense.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had a real quick phone call.
You're good. So, aside from that, I'm gonna let you two interact.
Hi.
Just pure confusion on her face.
Yeah, that was wow, that was an experience. Whew.
She's just like looking at everyone else, then back, looking at everyone else, and then back. Super freaked out.
Why are you looking at me like I've grown 6 heads and 3
In a
of
way,
them are deformed?
As
What? He's feeling around, seeing if there's actually heads.
as you're moving, every joint just feels stiff.
Oh God. Oh. He kind of stretches a little bit, slowly trying to get stuff back. Oh, what's the reason for the look?
it was like you were dead and you were I don't know, ghost you? I don't but like 6 ghost views, but it's gone because you're not dead anymore.
I don't remember dying. Um, and I guess you wouldn't remember dying even if you did die. Um, that does sound slightly concerning.
Still looking like everyone else back to him, everyone else back to him.
Ah, uh, that was uh that was an experience.
Death?
No, I. Okay, over the table. Did I miss something when I was on my phone call?
She just before you came to, she was about to go from like shaking you to a more extreme, and
Mm-hmm.
just as she was building herself up to do that, you took your first breath again. You came back gasping. The you started to steam because of you were losing body temperature, and then suddenly your season came back.
Right.
And while you, or just at that moment, she also stopped sensing you mirroring everyone else. It was just your emotions again.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right
Uh,
back. You two continue.
I not sure what you mean by death. I don't.
You were cold, unmoving, and not breathing. That's pretty solid signs of death.
Ah,
And then there were like ghost versions of you or something bouncing off everyone else.
I mean, that sounds weird. I don't remember anything like that. I was experiencing everyone's emotions in a slightly different way than you do, but I don't remember. And apparently, at some point, stopped breathing. That would explain the gasping. Why my
And
chest is a little tight.
didn't move and were cold.
Well, I usually don't move when I'm doing that, but if I wasn't breathing or holding my breath, that explains the coldness. Uh, it's quite. You said ghost versions of me? That's.
Well, it was just anyone I sensed, there was a second mirror of it.
Oh. That makes a little bit more sense, actually. Um. So you remember the painting that I drew, or I came up with that after the second time I tried this? The black one?
Yes.
Okay, so my little trip to the tower, or our trip to the tower where I separated from you all, I learned a few things about that space that I find myself in when I do this. Originally, I discovered this place back in the Feywild before I actually came here at the carnival as a means I was attempting to enhance a sense beyond its n- natural capability, and I stumbled upon this possibility. And then as I further stepped into this void of everything except existence, I started getting more out of it, and which led to a sort of emotional connection with you and everybody else in our party. I can feel the prominent emotion of each of you, and then that comes with a feeling, and I try those threads have given me a couple of the abilities that I've shown you or I've used before. But I tried something a little different this time because the place that I went to in the tower was slightly different than how it has been every night that I've done it here. And it's I tried to incorporate what I knew of experiences here when doing this into the space that I had experienced in the tower. And everybody's position was different. You were respectively where you were within the room, but you weren't doing what you were doing in the room. You were standing at attention. And the threads that in that space that connect essence to essence, essentially, is the best way that I can put it. I felt those emotions, the prominent ones again. And so I tried to send back the opposite emotion to try and potentially either get some sort of reaction or help with the emotions that were not the uh, and most people wouldn't be considered the best of. And it seemed to get a slight reaction. And then I just felt like, for the first time in that space, I felt the lack of something. And I decided that that was the time to call it for the day. Well, the night. It's it's an odd experience to try to explain without you being able to experience it. Makes me sound kind of crazy.
She's giving him a look.
I mean, that's fair. Essentially, with our times, I know it's been only a few weeks, if that. It's been about a few weeks, right?
Closing on 2.
Closing on 2. About 2 weeks or so that we've all been, majority of us have been together. But there's a link that I share with each individual within our group. And that link allows me to, much like I did with Cap when we were dealing with the undead, I can influence certain things via that link to aid everyone, much the similar way that I'm able to trade places with Biren when he runs off. It's an interesting place. When I was in the tower, the entity that I came across was just a mask with an oddly inverted version of my face on the backside of that mask. Slightly unsettling. But they called it the hang on, let me pull up my notebook. I don't know why I closed it. They called it the void of the first moment. And that it was a space of infinite potential if you knew how to use it and were willing to risk it. I mean, you've obviously seen me come out of these most times. I've not exactly walked away from them unscathed, but nothing permanent. And I usually get a better understanding of it for the next time.
Mm,
It's a lot, I know. At least this time I didn't wake up. At least this time I didn't wake up crying. You
really uncertain.
still have that look on your face.
Or a disco ball.
Oh yeah. It's quite unsettling, isn't it?
Um, it was just. Mm,
I don't remember starting my trance holding my breath. Usually my meditation involves a very practiced breathing, but nothing about what I experience in there is of a norm.
I mean, most people don't look like a steam engine.
Oh, yeah. I summer must have kicked back in when I came to. Uh yeah, everything's so stiff. My arms are they're not sore. Just tired? Not exactly that. You okay there, Tormy?
Yep, just fought off a sneeze.
Okay. But you said I was mirroring what you were sensing from the others?
Yes. Like a second copy.
See. It's would it be would, would it copying them exactly it sounds more of it sounds like a
Hmm.
it sounds like what you felt from them I was resonating with at the same time, which makes sense for what I was doing. I've explored self. I've tried to follow the threads that link everyone to myself. I've tried to strengthen them, which was my attempt today. It's like the threads give or transfer those feelings to me, and I thought if I were able to transfer something back, that it would strengthen that a little bit. I don't know. It's still a process I'm working on. Perhaps I took a misstep somewhere, and that's what led to the held breath, stopped breathing, dead scent type air. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to be more mindful next time.
I don't know if this is going to cause any other complications with you having the symptoms that you had.
Well, the one good thing I can say is that each time I've done this, the symptoms that I wake with have never been the same. They've been some of them have been drastic, but they haven't mimicked a previous encounter with this place. So there's that hope. But like I said, perhaps I took a misstep somewhere. I should I may need to reevaluate the way that I approach it. Ugh. However, I think I'm going to warm up a bit in the bath, and then I'm going to crash.
Very well.
I apologize for worrying you.
She's going to kind of go back to her space, but weary, and try to go back into sensing emotions.
And at this point, I am going to teleport into the bathtub and heat that
Yep.
son of a bitch up. And he's just leaning back, arms on the outside of the tub, and just leaning there, just soaking it all up.
Hot tubs do more for your joints than they do for your muscles. So,
Yes.
the next hour goes by, and Biren stirs from his meditation, though he wakes in the same position that he fell asleep in.
Must ask, is there a puddle of drool?
I'm
I
not
think he's
sure
still. I think he's still away at the moment.
that is fair.
And in
But
case it's
yes,
not known, I'm gonna trance in the tub.
perfectly safe. Yeah,
He's got his arms out of it. He doesn't. You. How big? Okay, first off, how big are these tubs? Because they can't be like lay down big.
Olympic swimming pool big.
They're soaking tubs.
first off, they're not claw tubs up above the surface
Uh-huh.
of the floor. They are actually floor level.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you just teleported from on ground to just about this much being above ground. Second, these are about 8 by 12. There's two of them on opposite sides of the room.
Okay, then yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not drowning. So about the time that Beeren starts to stir, that would have given me some time in the bath, correct?
Yeah.
I will find my way to the bed.
You clean yourself up, you head to the bed, and you set yourself for trance. And Biren starts to stir before the others do. Do you continue your current work, Dashani, or do you do something else?
No, I got interrupted, so now that I'm not worried about a dead party member or a cursed party member, I'm gonna go back to the sensing of emotions.
Okay.
God, I love this.
With that, Biren, you wake up to a sopping wet Adraxan slinking off to bed. A slightly worried look, Deshani, starting to have a more placid face and looking to each of your slumbering companions and eventually to you. What are you doing with your morning? Same normal ritual?
Yep, he's gonna strip down and hop in the tub. And I don't think I ever repaired my shirt from being caught on Cap's talons.
Not yet.
So I will go ahead and do that.
Okay. Shawnee, you feel when you look at Biren, he finds the routine that he has found in these mornings to be a point of relaxation. The fact of being able to do the same thing over again and not have to worry is incredibly centering for him by comparison to everything else you do in the day. But as things go through the morning hours and more of your party gets to rise from their slumbers, from their sleep and meditations, you catch waves of different emotions as they are relaxing or resting, and when they come to a vertical state, most of their resting is, I will say, about 3/4 finding ways to release the stress that you all have been going through.
Okay.
And then a strong enough tension to keep those same worries at the forefront. Whether it is the oncoming problem with Draxon's grandfather and that world, whether it's the relaxing thought of a mine suddenly being billions of miles away from any planet, whether it's learning how to use a new tool or finding or possibly finding something that will help fix an old problem, or even just finding a way home. You feel those tensions on each of your friends here. Just enough to keep them at their peak. That's what you're feeling the entire time.
Okay.
Because of the nature of things with you, I would like you to roll me 2 100s. I would like Biren to roll me 1 100, and I would like Ari to roll me a D100.
Do I have?
Depending upon how higher you roll, your second roll might actually just go into your next ability.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find my D10s. Give
You're
me a
good.
sec.
I got a 64.
I got a 65.
That is a 25. And one.
And 1.
Nope, I read that wrong. Sorry. That is a 71.
Okay. You hit your reset. Give me 1 moment. Continue your morning roleplay. I will send the skill that you just unlocked.
Oh.
God, that is fantastic.
What?
Flaming hot peanuts and Coke. Ugh. All right, let's see. Let's go to this and open this up so I have this ready for when Tommy sends me that. And I also need to open this up because I'm gonna have to modify something.
I still got a couple things I need you to make.
What's that?
That dagger that sees through illusions.
Oh shit, yeah. I forgot about that. Um, do you have all the statistics on it?
Pretty much all it does.
Just
It's
let you
not a
see.
weapon, it's a ritual dagger. So it doesn't even do damage, it's basically just a reflective cutlery.
Be right back.
Okay.
Okay, I can
Okay.
actually. Um, no, why did I do that? I don't want that. Fuck. I want. I want to create a magic item. Alright, create from scratch. This is going to be an item. It's going to be a wondrous item. Is it a green rarity, Tommy?
I would say technically it's a blue because it is.
Okay.
First off, it's not an actual weapon, so it's not quite the norm.
No, you're right. It's I've got it listed as a basic item, wondrous item.
Works.
Um, does it have a particular name?
I was never told an actual name.
Or can I just give it one?
Uh, Edge of True Reflection.
That's what I was going. That was pretty damn close to what I was going for, actually. Okay.
Moto should be here right now because that was the greatest comparison ever.
What?
Sorority girls with the palates of a country goat.
Secret dagger that allows one to see through illusions. Looking. Through the surface of the blade. If there is
While he is still getting that one done, I'm going to send this one to you so that you know what you just got.
Okay.
it will seem to move or be present.
Right.
Yes. We're gonna add a modifier to
interesting.
this.
Right?
Advantage on
It's kind of right up her alley.
perception.
Yeah.
Looking
I'll be right back.
through the surface, the blade.
Interesting.
The reflection. Sorry,
Thing.
that should be the reflection. While looking through the reflection of the blade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take my pills
Going
before.
through the surface.
Fixed that.
A little later.
Reflection.
No.
Through the surface of the blade.
Wow. That is
Okay,
nice.
edge of true reflection is made, and its modifier is there. So I've added the advantage to perception only when looking through the surface of the blade at the reflection of something magical or an illusion. Now we'll get to what Tommy sent me for. Okay,
Shocking.
familiar. Yep. Familiar shows.
While you
Emotion.
are putting that together,
Go for it.
the rest of you are gathering yourselves for the morning. Ari,
Yes.
you were doing some resting, or some reading and some resting and a little bit of note taking last night before going to bed. Are you doing
Yeah.
anything specific this morning?
I sent you pips.
What I do to clear the fog of sleep
was your
from my
first one.
brain when I awaken, and it's I start reciting just random bits of information in my head to try and get the thought processes going. Ari is and forever will be the epitome of a nerd.
Understood.
Okay, Deshani, your familiar emotion is created.
Okay.
Would I be stirring about this time?
Yeah. You take about, as everybody else is already stirring and doing their morning routines, you stir about half an hour later than you usually do. mainly because of the separation between uh,
Clean dead.
waking waking from the dead, taking a bath, and then going to bed.
Right. Oh,
He didn't want to stink up the sheets, man.
oh, I feel better now. Oh, God.
Vishani at
Now,
some point would have taken a bath as well, just because, you know.
I'm
Fair.
gonna go ahead
It's not like
and
you don't have the time in your 8 hours of everybody else being asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
So
gonna
nice
head
not
and
to have.
activated my long rest. Oh,
That's 8 hours of extra activities.
oh. Did I miss anything fun?
8 hours of honing skills.
Um,
No, we need to find a mission to go do.
That's fine. We can do that. But I need to go by Smith and Wesson
Why?
because my blade is done, or should be done.
It's not supposed to be done until later tonight.
I gave it to him in the morning.
Uh-uh. It was right before we went to dinner and then to bed.
Was it? I swear it was earlier than that.
To be fair, it was an earlier dinner and an earlier bedtime the previous
mean-
day, but he's not too wrong.
Damn it.
how do I add the?
If you go
Oh.
into feats, if you go into your page and go down to features, you can add feats. Like you select the feats tab and manage feats is there. You can go looking for that one and just add it.
Oh, and the other thing that I needed you to add for me is my panic points feat.
Oh, yes. It's I don't want to. I want to create a feed.
Of all the things that I have created for you, that is one of my favorites.
Tormy, can you send me the complete information for the panic points? No, never mind. He did. I got it.
Good.
I had. I am sorry, sir, but I thought I had this one made for you.
No, because we weren't making them as actual feats in the beginning when we got them.
Okay.
Or at least I don't remember us talking about
Panic
it.
points, and I'm
until-
guessing the 6 in parentheses is the max you can have.
That's how many I currently have. But yes, it is also my max.
Okay, that's what I need to know because I'm going to list that as well.
It's per up to your character level and panic points. That's what it is.
Okay.
So you're each getting yourselves ready, and Draxon brings up the need to visit to collect his weapon, which should be still a few hours out before it should be available,
So
according to the
breakfast.
estimations. You can do
Breakfast, Smith and Weston's, then revolvers. The question is, do we want to try and get something new? Or do we want to go try and finish that other one?
What other one?
You'll have to remind me on what you're talking about, Serb.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what other one.
The crypt.
Oh, fuck the crypt.
I mean, we do have more stuff now that we could, fuck people up in that crypt. But we're also down people too.
Mm-hmm.
No. Let's see.
And it's
I
11
mean,
o'clock.
uh,
I mean, we can basically just set up for the beginning of next game to
Mm-hmm.
start the action sequence.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not a fan of the crypt.
well, unless we get a mission from someone else,
Which one will be able
there's.
to?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we should be able to, but
No, we could.
We haven't done a mission for Bundo yet, have we?
haven't done what mission?
Bundo.
He just wants raw materials.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we went to the quarry and got all of those materials.
Oh, I wasn't
And
in the
then,
story.
oh yeah, we ran into the super ultra mega death worm, and now there's a hole in that planet where that mine used to be.
Destroying planets one session at a time.
Oh no, 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 no! It would have been a lot worse had we not had the inverted tower take care of that. Oh, so food?
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Fuck.
If you're deciding on food, are you looking for something new or something old?
Something borrowed, something blue.
Yes, you're all getting married to the gateway.
All you can fondue breakfast. That was a Draxon's favorite.
What?
All you can fondue breakfast.
That was a pretty good breakfast. I just like French toast, though.
I want cinnamon buns.
Oh, do I get to maybe perhaps let's try this and see if it works.
Well, shall we?
Let
Wait, where are we going?
Didn't we just say we were gonna do
All you can fondue
pick up
breakfast?
and
No, what? Where?
no? Let's go find cinnamon buns.
Cinnamon rolls are good too.
Hmm.
Probably need to draw the door.
Yeah, I'll take care of that. I'll pull out let's see, I'll pull for breakfast wise. We'll take I think 100 pounds of meat will cover.
What are we? That's like all you can fondue meal, man. Honestly,
You
we could get
50,
breakfast for like
20.
probably 5 pounds of meat.
I mean, that's
We've
up to
been
you.
going for the big breakfast. are the big meals. That's why we've been dropping mad amounts of meat.
I'm gonna pull out 20 pounds, and if I don't need it all, I can always put it back.
And are we taking the carriage?
Well, we're carrying the carriage. I mean, um, that's not gonna work like I wanted to.
That's what it's going to be called. So, you decide you're going to go looking for something
Wait a minute.
slightly new. Following Biren down the stairs, out into
Shawnee
the
talks
crowds,
about the food of her people.
and you take to the streets. The calm of your hotel behind you, the commotion of life and movement takes you as you go at such a dizzying speed through the crowd, reaching the reaching the road that has all of the food on it. You go past the places that you've become used to, the places that you know what to expect from them now. You go a little bit further down the street. In lo- in in search of what has been described to the rest of you by Dashani. And I'm not going to have you all do your normal perception checks because you can smell the fresh cinnamon as there is a brick. It kind of looks like a seashell where it's just one continuous wall that goes ever inward. There is a half bead curtain that would brush the hair of your shorter members, but leave pretty much most of your bodies visible as you cross the threshold. The smell of sweet, fresh baked goods hits each and every one of you. You drift in through under the arch of uh, the giant brick swirl, and the sounds from the street are lost to you. A calliope is being played, but you can't see the source. There are 7 There's 7 creatures, all wearing a white apron, that are dancing about rather gracefully between small tables that are most of them are only about maybe 3 feet across and round, enough for 2 or 3 people to crowd around. Couple of larger tables further in that are more squared and more like a 4 foot by 2 foot type of deal. And aside from the smell of baked goods and sugar and cinnamon and a few other spices in the air, you also catch the smell of caffeine as you see on the wall behind you as you are entering and facing a wall where these people are dancing back and forth and working between the different tables, taking things off of the display and bringing them to the patrons inside. There is a single person that is tall, thick, and just they are a wall of a person. Dark in complexion, almost brick red.
Shit.
They are working behind a machine that is just billowing steam. And the only words that you can see once you've passed under this curtain on the wall in front of you are glazed your days aways. Congratulations, you have walked into a fantasy Cinnabon / Starbucks.
Yes.
I want
Perfect.
one of those, and 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 one of those. And basically, Baron says he wants one of everything in the shelf.
Shawnee just takes a deep breath.
There are 562 different pastries in front of you in this display.
Baron's
And-
gonna get fat.
You do realize how much Baron runs, right?
Don't have enough.
Baron needs the extra fuel.
562 pastries each time. You gonna get fat.
But he literally goes through and says he wants one of everything.
There are so many different kinds of jelly-filled pastries. There are a couple of pastries that have pulled barbecued meat in their middle. There are a few that are like soft pretzels. There are some that have glazes over the top, some with icings, some with a marmalade that is still melting on the top of them. There are still scents behind you of heavy caffeine and several different kinds of heavy sugar in the air from behind you as well.
Is this place Paddington?
What?
Is this place run by Paddington?
No.
Because
Angel.
Marmalade really made me think of Paddington.
Angels, heaven sent.
Be ironic if it was run by demons. This is the most I've ever added to a single freaking feat.
No. But as as much as the environment feels celestial, a closer look, not at the clientele, but at the employees that are running things. It looks like two of your party, one of which isn't here right now, would be more comfortable around them. These are all different kinds of fae.
No, isn't this an interesting group?
Stay away from the pastries.
They stole our recipes.
As you look behind, or you look at the creature that's behind the ever steaming machine, and that's a very, very large red cap.
Okay. Serby,
Hmm.
your feat for panic points is made.
Okay.
You can add it. Let me know how many slots it gives you. You're starting at level 6, correct? And then I will need you at some point to experiment with this and make a copy of Biren and increase him up to level 20 and see if it adjusts appropriately. I had to literally go through and add limited uses for each level so that he gets the appropriate level of number of panic points. This thing has, not shitting you, the panic point thing itself has 15 limited uses. And it's all individual levels. Because I started at 6.
Fair.
Anyway, sorry about that.
But yes, there's several
Um,
different kinds of fae that are running the establishment that you can see.
Deshawning's just like immediately going to run up to the counter.
There is a single. You've run into quicklings before, so you recognize them. There's a single quickling standing behind the the counter, and they are currently just like feeding something into feeding a large bag of something into a chute that is right next to them. As the people that were in front of you move off to a table.
She's like bouncing.
How can I
Just
help you?
excited. I want a very, very large cup of coffee and the biggest cinnamon bun you have.
You're all together.
Yes.
Okay. That one has ordered one of everything. You're ordering a large coffee. Coffee is a little too general. We've got 50 things that can just be called coffee. Um,
Oh, Jesus
and
Christ.
the largest cinnamon bun?
Yes.
That is descriptive enough. He is descriptive enough. What kind of coffee?
I need a drink too.
What would you like?
I
I'm
don't
assuming
know.
you're all paying together.
Yes, we are.
Getting
Biren,
milk.
Biren looks at Dashani.
Chocolate milk.
Okay.
Extra short,
Um,
short, medium, tall, extra tall, or jumbo.
he looks
Yes.
over at home. Jumbo.
Good, good. And you? Which kind of coffee?
Dark roast, just black coffee.
Same question of size.
Jumbo.
How about you, tall, gray, and
Hairless.
contemplate?
I'll take a scone, please. With a simple latte.
2 questions. Size of latte, and we have 38 different kinds of scones. Do you want it plain, or do you want it with some kind of berry?
Cranberry. And
Gotcha.
whatever size you feel is appropriate for one of and he just kind of waves his hands from the top of his head down my size.
Jumbo.
Jumbo it is.
Quadruple jumbo.
You?
He just nods. Thank you.
Oh.
And you guys can just kind of hear him muttering to himself. He's like, I didn't think I was that big.
You just watch Biren order a jumbo. Of course he needs a jumbo.
You have anything that tastes like French toast?
Yes, it's called French toast. It's right there.
We have 73 things that taste exactly like that.
Oh Jesus! Is
4
one of
of
them
them
the
are
actual
drinks.
thing? Is one of them the actual thing?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that.
How big a stack?
Let's go an even 10.
Size of drink?
Strawberry syrup. Drink?
Hmm.
No, let's do.
Or are you just gonna drink the syrup because it comes in a rack?
No, I'm not gonna drink the syrup. I'll do the same as my compatriot, jumbo, dark roast, black.
After everything you've just said, you see him. The page in front of him is blank, and then it isn't, and then it is the pen is missing, the pad is missing, and it is a paper airplane, and it is being thrown over you.
I have a feeling that what I brought out isn't going to work for this. So,
And how are you gonna pay?
She's gonna look back.
I don't suppose you guys would take meat.
I mean, he did mention pulled pork in one of the.
Criminy eats meat. We can do with it.
I'll hold out the 20 pounds that I've got. I have a feeling it's going to be more need to be more than that for what was just ordered. Essentially, since Biren ordered one of everything.
If you double that, you can cover everything.
You mind if I use your wall for a minute? I have to open an
Sure.
extra dimensional space to get the rest of it.
Nothing's coming back out on its own, is it?
No, because it's a cold storage. If it was in there, it's probably frozen to death. But no, it's fine. So he pulls out the doorknob, and walks over and draws the entire door. Attaches the doorknob, cracks it open. and steps inside, and he will retrieve another 20 pounds of meat. Come back out, close the door, remove the doorknob, and hand over the total of 40 pounds.
You go to reach for the 40 pounds, and it is already in a leather bag that is being loaded into the chute. You can go.
Okay. You have to teach me how to do that because that's fucking amazing.
First along table.
Thank you.
Shawnee is just like skipping excitedly.
I'm gonna go take a seat.
Over the table, I was kind of hoping y'all would give Biren like some crazy coffee.
I thought about it, but it's
After
already
seeing,
getting a ridiculous amount of sugar.
and
Yeah,
honestly,
let's
after
have an-
seeing him with alcohol the night before, I don't want to see him with caffeine.
So, you all take your seats. There is a thin trickling fog in the roll of the top of this semi-archway entire just tube of a building that just slowly turns. The there is a single server that comes past to your table while that Calliope is still playing somewhere without any origin from what it sounds like. And this server comes over with a domed cover on a large tray. Two of you have seen a fawn dryad before. One of you wasn't that odd of a occurrence, especially through your travels through the Fae. One of you has met one in a bar once.
that
was-
obviously wasn't me.
That was the talk of the town back at your home years ago, because it was the first Fae to have been seen in a long time. But needless to say, this
Fawn
benevolent,
dryad.
this fawn dryad arrives with this delicate, dainty frame, holding up a tray that has the full dome cover that is about the size of Biren. Sets it down on the end of the table, pulls the lid up and over until it collapses completely, and one by one gently doles out the drinks, and then the couple of you that have asked for single items, they come out on little dishes. The largest the scone comes out on a tea cozy disc. The the stack of French toast comes out on a full plate with literally a semicircle of beakers just on the edge of the plate with different syrups in it. That's set in front of you. The largest
Cinnabon.
Cinnabon comes out, and it is about the size of a personal pie,
Nice.
and it has a little. It has a toothpick in the top that has something that doesn't look like it is a real leaf that comes off in a flag. It's green and very obviously made of icing. And then there is 2 cases that are all supported. They are thin, um, thin framed wood walls that separate each thing. But 2 cases just kind of get shoved out of this in front of Biren. You asked for one of everything. So you got one of everything. They're not the largest, but you get a sample of everything we got.
Biren, that is quite a bit of food.
He just tears into it.
I appreciate your hospitality.
Well, you paid for it, so it's not technically hospitality.
True.
You made your even
Service.
trade. You made your even trade. It's not the
Service is a better
hospitality that
term.
people are thinking of.
Service is a better term.
Dashani just thumbs up with her mouth full.
Just be happy that that he's not the one that's manning that desk. When he was, hospitality was the word for it.
Hmm. I'll keep that in mind.
If you ever see the beads being read,
Yeah.
he's behind that desk at the day.
Mm.
Gives a thumbs up, refolds the platter under her arm, and jaunts back off to the front to start doing another task.
I am going to sample all my syrups.
There are 7 syrups that you recognize the flavors of. There are another 5 that you've never had before.
Biren has now made it through 32 different desserts.
The very last syrup you have tastes like meat.
No. No. Even for me. No.
Not
Bacon.
just because they can doesn't mean, or just because it's there doesn't mean it's for everybody.
That's true.
I mean, like a sausage maple syrup. That actually would be delicious. I think.
Doesn't taste like anything but meat.
No, nope,
It
no.
is meat in liquid form.
Here's what you do with that. You take that, you put it into an injector, and you stab it into a steak, and just inject the steak with it.
I technically do have syringes left.
This group.
I mean, 50% of what we do is eat.
Be right back.
Yep.
Throw like a pound of salt in it, and it becomes potted meat. There you go. Just drinkable.
Ugh.
Exactly.
All right, how far has Baron made it now? Biren has now made it through almost 100 different desserts.
I've returned.
Welcome back.
Biren has now made it through about 100 different desserts.
To be fair, every single thing that Biren has gotten is slightly, or it's like 3 times the size of a donut hole from Dunkin' Donuts. They're like all sample sizes, but you got all of them. And by the end of it, you might not know which ones you liked.
Nope.
Draxon digs in after having sampled his syrups.
And
Taking, matter of fact, he is going to take the syringes and fill them with the meats. One of them with the meat syrup. Even if I-
Scone.
Even if I don't put it in, inject it into a steak, I can inject it into other things and use it as bait.
your scone is the lightest, butteriest scone with not only just the right amount of cranberries in, but a couple of cranberries just kind of littered across the plate.
He's good.
Really good.
In order to technically fast forward, the next hour and a half goes by of each of you enjoying your meals and then waiting for uh
Yeah.
Biren to finish his pile of food.
He's already moved the first case off to the side and started on the second one.
I'm
When you've got
kind of getting
almost
sick watching him.
he's got almost
Just
600 to go through.
Ari's just watching him intently and is taking notes periodically.
It's like one of those
you-
Nash-
Biren eats an impressive amount of food
it's like
and
one of
walk
what
away.
watching one of
One
those. Yes, go ahead.
one of the notes in your book is just he eats an impressive amount of food, and every 3 or 4 of or every dozen more that he goes through without slowing down, you just add another line under very impressive.
Like watching a National Geographic on animals and their eating habits.
He does seem to taste each one, but it goes down like he's breathing.
Are just like unfazed at this point.
Herbie, he opens his mouth and
I mean, you literally watched him take a manga pancake, roll it up, and shove it into a fountain of chocolate sauce and shove the whole thing in his face. I don't see how this would make you sick.
it's 600 pastries that are literally 3 times bigger than a donut hole.
Mhm.
He writes another.
It's like Dongo. It's like 600 Dongo. That's a lot of shit, dude.
It reminds me of Kirby.
He's Goku, but instead of instead of strength and martial ability, he is speed and archery.
And pure
Goku.
stomach capacity.
I mean, also Goku.
Yeah,
Pure.
Any of
he-
them, honestly. Any of
Goku, but
them.
He
stomach-
replaced most of his other organs, including his brain, with just another stomach.
I've gotten smarter. Thank you very much.
I was actually talking about Goku in that aspect, but
Oh,
I mean,
He's not wrong.
about 2.5 hours have passed since you've entered this oddly shell-shaped building, and Biren is finally on his last dozen, and he is not stopped, but he is also not at the same pace he was.
has he had to loosen his belt a couple times?
He is stopped to the point where you can see him chewing.
Quite impressive, Biren.
as he finishes his last one, you haven't seen him touch his chocolate milk yet the whole time, and then he just picks up the jumbo glass and drinks the whole thing down in one go. Sets it back on the table.
And with that many carbs in your system, and then suddenly adding that much milk, your mouth goes like weirdly dry.
Just thinking about okay, so give me a visual here, Tori. How big is the jumbo glass of milk?
So the jumbo sizes are I don't have a vessel.
Is it like is it
near
bigger
me.
than a gallon of milk?
I was thinking like 40-ounce beer stein, giant glass.
You know the comically large like wine glasses that are about the size of someone's torso?
Yeah.
Why are those
Imagine
comical?
imagine not a wine glass, but a cylinder type of drink. There's no stem, it's just that.
Okay, so probably 2.5 feet. I know how heavy milk is. After eating 600 pastries and then chugging milk, I'm surprised this guy isn't barfing.
There are three things that could easily happen to most people by eating a lot of carbs and then chugging milk. One is vomiting, one is going so dry they need something else to wash it down with, and the third is a diabetic coma.
And then there's Biren, who's gonna run it off in about 20 minutes anyway.
I'm going with the you are dry as a bone right now because of carbs plus lactose. I'm doing the nice one.
Yeah, you don't want to taste that a second time.
Ugh.
This might be the
But-
first time Biren's had milk that may not have been curdled.
No,
No?
I think I had it for breakfast at some other point.
Who might have?
Anyway, you've spent about 2.5 hours here. Each of you have gone through your food and your drinks, and most of you have spent your time just kind of staring at Biren put each and every pastry away like he's got an extra dimensional space in his stomach.
Ah. Coulda
And then
saved
wash it
100.
down with chocolate milk like he doesn't know what a bad idea is.
He is full of them.
And pastries at the moment.
Mhm.
So,
She's
shall
gonna
we move
slosh
on?
as he walks now.
Oh,
What?
you're gonna slosh as you walk. So if we're
So you
done
finish your
here,
things and you start stirring and you get up and head out. The quickling behind the quickling behind the desk gives you a and then it's
thanks
gone and
again.
then it's back.
Thanks again.
Welcome.
Oh, all right.
You leave the Calliope sound behind for the street.
Now, let's take a trip to Smith and Wesson, check on the progress of my weapon, and we can see if they've got anything they need us to go and grab.
As you take a slightly slower pace, but still not anywhere near the pace of most people on the road. You make your way through the streets and you get to the Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You open the door to that wonderful split level, and your the familiar faces are at their separate stations doing their normal work. You see Weston putting a polish on the weapon that she's been working on.
Oh, how's it going, guys? Gals. Guys and gal. Guy and gal.
Smith looks up. You owe me on this one. They did show up before you finished again. So, we're doing fine. She's almost done with the final touches.
Perfect. Well, while we wait for her to finish up, we're in the market for kind of a time killer. You guys got anything you're in need of that we can go and fetch, gather, get?
Blow up?
That too.
Well, we can always use more raw materials to work with. There's always you could re-up one of our contracts with one of the outposts on a world that we know.
Okay.
There's. You looking for safe or dangerous?
Kind of
Since
middle
it's-
ground, honestly.
Since it's time killing you're looking at, not not what you're really expecting for needing something more. So it's kind of where I'm at.
Kind of something middle ground. If I'm being honest, kind of want to make sure that we don't rough ourselves up too much, but at the same time, we got to keep skills sharp. Blade's only as sharp as the one using it.
Well, then I've got I've got a place for you. There's this little place that you don't even have to leave the there. I've got a couple of ideas. One, you don't even have to leave the gateway for. Here's a little arena just off the pit that occasionally does arena bouts, prizes, and the like. That's one idea. There's the living mine. There's re-upping a contract. Re-upping a contract with a there's a little company that works right off of a plot of land that has access to pretty much every major resource. They send shipments here and there.
Okay. Yep, a
Which
contract.
would you like?
Does this company have a name?
You heard of Deep Pockets?
Have I?
Give me a roll. History.
Okay.
The Ari and Dashani can also do that as well if they would like.
You said history. Okay, that is Nat 20 for 22.
Nice.
Let me go to my skills.
You said history, right?
Correct.
26.
That's a 22.
Okay.
With your multiversal knowledges and some of your traveling and the like, the two of you that got in the low 20s, you have heard of a trade company that sets up outposts on worlds that have resources that are not being used by any other civilized group. Ari,
Yes.
this is a company that, as previously stated, doesn't specifically doesn't do this to worlds that have civilized or any civilization that is advanced enough to have like government.
So a very crude form of sentience. Got it.
But anything below that, they will strip mine that world.
I relay said information.
See. Well, makes them sound like they've got their own pros and cons. What can you tell me about this living mind?
The living mine. It is built almost completely. It's on one of the versions of the Earth plane. There are plenty of golems and elementals there that are made of the stuff that we usually look to gain the physical essences of.
Okay.
Mithril, iron.
We do need to re-up on some mithril.
Adamantine. You name it, there is a you name a kind of metal or mineral. It's there and it's living, and most of them are just generally not happy with squishier forms of life.
Fair enough. I think they all sound like relatively promising prospects. Is there any particular time frame for the, the two things at least? The contract being, I know, probably the most pressing.
We have plenty of time. It's more making sure that we know which ones we're drawing from. If it's a place that we don't want to support, we don't gain from that particular mining operation.
I've gotcha.
Their main office is usually on one of the worlds they are currently digging the deepest into,
Well,
which can be dangerous.
I mean, what do the rest of you guys think? I mean, we've got time to tackle all three of them.
Let's hit
mean-
the mine first.
Huh?
Let's hit the mine first.
I was thinking the same. Hit the mine, then do the re-up on the contract and maybe the small arena afterwards.
Okay.
You may want to think up a name for your group if you're doing the arena.
Yeah. We are getting quite a bit of people. It's about time we, especially with the amount of buzz we've caused, that
Hmm.
we should probably come up with something. We'll have to toss that one around.
Well, if that's not your first stop, then you've got time to figure it out.
Okay.
Give Herb maybe another hour. She'll probably be done with the polish.
Okay.
Use me for all the coughing, guys.
You're good. Well, we've got a couple of things we can get ready for. I'd definitely like to wait until my blade is done before we go anywhere. in particular that might be dangerous. Just because
Fair.
I get the most out of it. Other weapons are fine. It's just, one you're good with is the one you're good with.
Plenty of arena fighters have gotten their entire reputation on one weapon alone. Then again, some have gone through every weapon in creation.
But
A lot of weapons.
yeah. So do you guys have anything you want to do for an hour before I collect my come back and collect my weapon, or just
Not
kind of
comes to mind.
I don't know.
I should.
Take an hour to browse around, hang around the shop, see what's going on. And Weston finally finishes the polish. Did I ever send you the information for the replacement?
Nope. You told me the information for the replacement, but you never sent it to me. And I've got the original one up so I can actually just edit what is added.
Give me a minute. Go ahead and roleplay your hour if you would like.
Just browsing different things, mainly various types of shields.
Shawnee's just checking things. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can just add that to it.
Okay. Um. 18. First attack in the turn with a free action. Oh,
I forget one thing.
okay.
Yawn.
So it goes from being normal waves edge to basically the halberd version.
Basically.
Sweet.
Nope, we're just doing that. There you go.
If the attack taken extends the weapon for the first attack is made at advantage. If you use the extended one,
If the first attack, or since you can on your first attack, do your switch over. If the first one extends or switches it into its extended mode, that first attack is at advantage.
okay. Um,
Because, surprise, motherfucker, it's longer.
I like it.
Oh dear God, I just gave you Kuwabara's sword. Sword get big.
So as he takes this and looks it over, he gets the biggest fucking smile on his face. The prototype was very intriguing, very fascinating. This you have extremely outdone yourself on.
Sometimes you have ideas while you're in the middle of working on an idea.
This is going to
Those are always the best ideas.
we're actually gonna do this. On your turn, you can use it and it still has the spear end, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The only problem is that in extended, you can't deal up close because,
Oh, that's okay.
yep,
That's okay.
that's what the other attack, or what the contracting attack is for. But yes, you finally have your upgraded main weapon.
In regards to that, do I need to increase any of the is there anything that needs to change as far as like the um rarity of the item, the attunement type thing, that type of stuff?
It's all the same. It was just an upgrade to your previous weapon.
Okay. So we've got
That weapon gets really silly with the next ability you're aiming for.
oh yeah. What was the next one I was aiming for?
You don't
I-
know yet. Remember, all these new abilities.
Oh, you're
you don't know
talking
what you're
about
gonna get.
my. You're talking about the one that I'm working towards, not the next upgrade I was looking for this. I do have a question for you, Weston.
Mm.
While we were wandering around and everything for the hour while we waited, I was taking a look at some of the shields you have on display. Do you have anything that's not that doesn't require a carry?
Doesn't take up an arm.
Uh-huh. Something that can be mounted to a bracer, perhaps? Or something that might be able to be deployed if needed?
We have 4 different things. One I like to call the deployable shield. It is effectively just an arm sheath that you spike into the ground and it makes a portable small wall.
I need one of those.
It is a bitch to get pulled back up. Another
Okay.
one is more his side of things. Dancing shield.
What is
Queens in the background.
You say the magic word and it takes flight and orbits you. About an hour or two. Third one. I call the tortoiseshell. It's not a tortoiseshell, but it might as well be. It might get in the way of your glider suit, but hard tack, 4-point contact to your armor, and then it is just a large oval, sharp-ended shield that doesn't leave your back. Doesn't take up an arm.
It doesn't.
And finally, there is one that he's been that's been working on that it's not a hard tack shield. It's more a magic thing. Not my end of things. And she kind of gives a glance, and there's already a wide, toothy grin on Smith's face as he's holding up a little bracelet. You mean this?
What is that?
He slides it over his enormous hand. Forms a fist. And then goes, "One of you throw something at me." And he just puts his fist between you and him. You don't see any difference.
Beeryn throws a sausage at him.
About a foot from the end of his fist. a round, about 4-foot diameter shield made of force just kind of stops the sausage and makes it drop. It doesn't bounce off, it just goes.
Huh.
Reaches down, picks up the sausage. A second roll.
I'm definitely interested in the first two.
I mean, the one, the one that orbits and the one that spikes into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've only got one of the one that orbits, and we've got four, 5 of the spikes.
Can they be stacked with each other?
What do you mean?
If I were to use the one that spikes into the ground, which deploys a shield wall of some size, can the one that orbits still be utilized as well?
Oh yeah, I thought you meant like having one of the spike ones on top of another one. That's just weird. I mean, it's not just weird; it's impractical.
Right.
When he says that's just weird, she kind of gives him that, like, have you not been working with this group? Look,
Take the attack action. You can switch between the two modes on the first attack of the turn as a free action. Contracted, extended. Boom.
Biren wants one of the shield walls because then he could just stand behind the shield wall and take pop shots from way far away.
Yeah,
It is
I think
portable cover. It just takes a lot to get it back out of the ground without breaking the shield.
I'm interested in. Well, I'm. Let's see.
Well,
I
it's a
like.
good thing I just got proficiency in athletics.
I kind of want the one of the spikes in the floating one.
So I'm currently counting 2 spikes and 1 floating.
Yes.
Shawnee's kind of eyeing the floating one.
I've only got 1 floating at the moment. I could make one, but
I'm not in a rush.
okay. So far, we've got 1 on the books, one floating on the books, 1 practical on the floating, 2 practical spikes. Is that all,
Mhm.
or
That's 3. And after he gets his blade all situated, sorry, I just finished
you're
all
good?
of that stuff. Biren, you get your 2 swords back. So he hands you back the assassin's short sword and the ghost blade.
What about you? Looking to Ari? Everybody else has talked about a shield.
So fancy.
He reaches into an inside pocket in his robe, pulls out a draw that he had been working on. He just goes, "Would it be possible to make this, and he hands it over. When you unfurl it, it essentially is another flute that turns into a gun.
Fuck.
What?
Nothing. I think Ari should get the tortoise shell.
My brain went with putting the ring around his trunk.
Well, the tortoise shell isn't a ring; it's the 4-point contact.
Yeah.
Trunk ring. What else is that called?
Good God.
But my meaning is it is an invisible it is a small invisible wall.
for the
Fair.
for the ring shield.
Yeah.
So, okay, so there was that one, the 5-point or was it 5 or 4-point contact?
4-point contact.
4-point contact shield, and then there's the other two. Well, fuck. I mean, we could find use for all of it, honestly. If nothing else, I mean, Deshani, while you're waiting on your one to get made, you could use the uh, the ring until your other one gets made. I'm more interested in the floating one because it frees me up to use both hands for the weapon.
Wait. Hold on. The one that she wants is the last one, that the forced one where he just kind of.
Yeah,
dropped us
that's
off.
not that's
Okay.
not the floating one. That's the
Okay.
force ring. That's the ring. Okay.
We've got one of
That's
those
what I
on hand.
Okay. So yeah, we'll do
How much
Sorry.
water you got?
the water.
Yeah.
We've got still got, I think, 30
Plenty.
gallons. Yeah.
34 gallons. Something
Um
crazy.
I have it written down. Hold on, let me find it.
Brings up 2
We
buckets
got
and goes, fill those and I'll cover the shields.
yeah, we've got 30 gallons, so whatever those 2 buckets will fill.
I'm gonna say a gallon each.
I'll mark that down. Might as well
Um,
get some use out of the water since Cap's not here.
you dunk them in and pull them out full and hand them back.
Gallons of water.
Give me a moment. I'm now going to run that information to you.
Absolutely. Sorry. I had the thought that crossed my mind while I was waiting and thinking of shields was Captain America's version 2 shield
There you go.
that were basically just mounted to his fucking forearms and he just punched shit with them. So I am going to, just so I know we've got it, I am going to add the enchanted water to my my material bag. Enchanted water.
As soon as you said shield, I went with the floating around you shield, the dancing shield, or whatever you called it.
Yeah, it's actually yeah, it's
They
is it
have
very
the-
is it very similar to the what the fuck is it called? Armor. The animated shield.
Yes, it's effectively that.
Okay. Yeah, I was. As soon as you said that, I was like, I know that shield. I know a similar shield. Thraxus's main shield. Because especially with rebuilt Thraxus, he commands the shield and then he fucking goes crazy with dual longswords.
See, I think that would honestly, we should all end up with one of those at some point.
What was the I'm sorry because I was in the middle of two things at the same time. What were the selling points for the 4-point contact shield?
It is a shield that does not require an arm. It is a solid two-ridge plate. So basically, it is a tortoise shell made of steel or
Okay.
another effective metal, which protects everything up to the top of your head and everything below your butt. Pretty
And it
much
mount
only from behind, only your arms and legs are not covered.
Okay, that's what I thought. See, I was thinking that would be something that Biren would go after with him, with us bolting and stuff most of the time. You wouldn't have to worry about something shooting you or hitting you in the back.
Well, but I've also am going to have that harness.
True. I could see that. Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking, Biren has basically gone to a ranged fighting style. So having the shield wall set up in front of him is, that's gonna help protect him. That gives him 3/4 cover basically. Because it's 4 foot tall and he's 5'2".
Yeah. Hey Tormy,
Yes.
on the spike shield, the 4-foot wall, does it just grant like cover?
It grants half cover at standing or full cover if you duck behind it, and you
Okay.
lose the +1 AC
Okay.
while it's deployed.
I need to make sure that is noted.
Yep.
Oh, so you don't get any kind of plus to your armor class?
It just makes you
So at half cover, you get a +5 to your AC. You're just not stacking that on top of the +1.
Got you.
And it's basically a shoot that comes down to about 6 inches past the end of your knuckles as a point. You punch it into the ground, and as you release, it folds out into cover.
What rarity?
I'm going with rare.
Okay.
I will be right back.
Okay.
After these messages.
This next one is a purple.
Okay. And so the animated one, or the other one is just the animated shield.
Yeah. With the spike shield, I've got the bracelet of force, and I've got.
We've got the animated one, so because we didn't do the tortoise one.
That was not the entire thing.
Hmm.
I'm going to fix that.
You're fine.
This is also a purple.
Okay.
And one moment, I'm also going to real quick do the flute.
Is back.
Welcome back.
The second and third one need attunement.
Okay.
Be right back.
Okay. Spike shield is made. Now we're gonna make Deshani's. Slit. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Slit of force
Does the
shield.
spike shield require attunement?
No.
Okay, good.
Deshani's will. a +4 to AC, or you can spend an action and bonus action to use power of the split by a fist. If you do, you lose +4 to AC, but gain a 5-foot wide.
There you go. There is the last one to be built.
Lender wall of force around you that does not move
Okay.
and lasts until start of next turn.
He looks back up, goes, tell you what, give us about. Give me about 20 hours and I can get that done for the.
Flute gun?
Looks up at you and I think you're gonna like what I'm gonna call it.
He nods. I look forward to it.
Armor class. Fixed value is 4. When not
Do
wild
you want to discuss
lord.
payment before or for the flute before or after?
Boom
Now,
flute.
What would you like
But
to
is lost
put up for
when
trade?
well, force is activated.
he thinks for a minute.
I've got if you don't have anything, Ari, I've got something that I can cover you with.
Well, I was going to say, what would you find worthwhile?
Mostly raw materials, our sort of thing. Unless you do
Um
have manuals with any new enchantments that I don't already have. Kind of just points at a shelf that is just. It is completely filled, and it is about 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide. And it
I've
is
got
just
a
books of enchantments.
I've got a 150-pound giant boar tusk, and I've still got some mana fruit.
Ari just kind of holds up his hand and he says, raw material, reaches into his bag, and he pulls out about a 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot chunk of the last of the mithril that he brought with him from home. Can you do anything with this?
With a little bit more, I could say we could cover the entire thing with that. Let me see. And he picks it up and looks to manipulate it.
Deshani bracelet of force shield is up.
Was that pure or was that raw?
It was pure.
He presses it. Yeah. at first look, I thought it was raw. That ought to cover it actually pretty nicely. Puts it on the edge of the table.
Spike shields.
We find this all the time. We tried refining it, and that's what came of it, and then we couldn't really think of anything to use it for, so I've just been carrying it around.
So far as I've noticed, it's most useful when being made into thin material. It can be conductive.
Fair. Pleasure doing business.
Give me, actually, I still have this last thing to do. Give me 21 hours. I should have that done for you. And then probably take a rest. Like,
Okay.
she should take a rest now.
I'm a patient person. No rush.
I have found that your little group makes large waves very quick and finds finds a way of gathering more potential resources than you should need for weeks in a matter of hours around here.
He just kind of grins.
Backside.
Aye, we're good at that, it seems.
+4 to AC.
So
3 happens.
I'm going to say that I'm going to continue on what I'm working on. Weston over there should probably take a nap in the back. So if there's anything else before we jump into doing the other half of the business other than speaking with clients and
Will
the like?
will Revolver know of the Living Mind's location? Or do you have something that we can give him that he can?
He'll probably ask which living minds, honestly.
Is there any particular one that you have in mind, or just any of them?
Any of them. Honestly, it's you ask for something reasonably dangerous. It's minds that come to you, basically.
Oh crap. I can't use the bracelet. I don't have any more twin slots.
I mean, that's a pretty good item if you had something that you could get rid of that wasn't as.
Nope.
What all do you have that's attuned?
The Holy Handbow. The Crystal Ball of Spell Storing. And the Earring of Faithful Shielding.
Well, I mean, you've got it. You can always switch them out depending on which one you want to use. You can switch it for the because
No, because I
the
take time to tune.
it takes a short rest. So if you knew what we were getting into the day before, or 30 minutes to an hour beforehand, is the bow there in case you run out of spell slots?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Deck save. And seed. 2 damage. Modifier. Bonus. 4. 6. And then the last thing is this one. Tormy, what's the rarity on the flute?
Purple.
Requires attunement, item wondrous. So the short rest.
Actually, what am I thinking? He demonstrated it right in front of you. Can you take attunement off of the ring?
Yes, I can take attunement off the ring. Give me 1 sec, and I will do that.
That will be helpful.
I mean, in conjunction with the earring.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hmm. For those of you at home, sorry for the kind
Crazy.
of crafting fiasco that is happening right now, but
S-
I swear there will be action next game.
This is going to spell. So this spell attack and spell save DC. Value of +2. Save. Add the modifier. Bonus. Spell attack +2. And then uh 40. And we're gonna add a modifier. Damage. Thunder. Dice count is 4d4. Can I put a range on there?
So
Should be able to.
you've each made trades. Several of you have gained shields that you feel best about grabbing. Did any of you decide to take the tortoise shield?
I'll take it. Sure, why not?
Excellent choice, considering.
It's a fantastic fucking thing, dude. 60 and 300.
And if Biren has the RE backpack on, there's the shield on us.
Bonus.
I can just see the next time you come in, Ari asking for a skateboard for him to lay down on.
What is that shield called, or is it not made
It
yet?
it is made. It is called the Adamantine Tortoise Shield. Is there a weapon already, Tormy, that does 44 damage?
No.
No? Okay. I was gonna turn this into a weapon, but I think it's best served as an item.
That just has weapon stats on tacked on the bottom, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So actually what we're gonna do is
Guys, I gotta call it soon.
yeah, we
Yeah,
can
it is. Here's how I'm going to resolve this. You guys finish up here. You leave the blood, sweat, and tears and shop behind. Take to the streets. Get to revolvers. You can start in those solemn halls next time.
yeah.
For those of you who are watching, I do apologize for the last 40 minutes where it has been mostly shop talk. But
Okay, the other thing is made, so when it's done and ready, Tormy, you can give it to him. He will just have to remember that it is an item, not a weapon at the moment, because I can't do both. So, um, it will be dex based.
Oh, great. I
You
know
asked
that-
for a gun.
I did. You were right.
so we are going to pull out of those solemn marble halls out into that open cacophony of the gateway. Back up into that tapestry of sky, into the dark, and leave fantasy behind, retreating back into reality. I thank everybody for joining us. I thank my players for doing what they do best. And for those of you who are looking to join in on the ridiculous swing of different kinds of fun that happen in this game or any of the others on our Discord, feel free to join us. We are always happy to invite new people to lurk, to join in on any of the games, or to ask to join the live roleplay that happens on the server. And at any rate, I look forward to telling more of this story with my friends here. And if you would like to join us, I look forward to telling some stories with you. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.